Hello and welcome to FilmFile from the Foyer Episode 3. Well, we couldn't get everyone together this month, as we have done over the past couple of months, but I did manage to get chatting with Kase and Neil about the upcoming Oscars, and our thoughts on the main categories, along with a brief chat about a few additional film-related items. But before we get into that, first a quick recap of what's caught my eye in the world of film since the last recording. We touch on it during the awards chat in a bit, but I have to urge everyone to check out what has become my new film of the year, Her. Directed by Spike Jonze, this is a love story between a man and a computer, brilliantly playing with social commentary about how impersonal our relationships are now, where we communicate with people via Facebook, Twitter, text, etc., so much that we're finding face-to-face relationships awkward. The film expands on that idea to suggest that maybe it isn't that strange for someone to fall in love with a computer if it was a smart enough AI. Indeed, there's already been a report about a man who married his Siri apparently, so it isn't that far from the truth, and let's be honest, if you had a computer that spoke to you in the voice of Scarlett Johansson, you'd fall in love too. Beautifully shot and complemented with a musical score which was put together by Jonze and longtime collaborator Karen O, Her is a treasure of a film to watch and one deserving of the award nominations it has been receiving. Also this month I had a chance to check out the Lego Movie. That film just proved that everything is indeed awesome, as it lent a stylish animation which perfectly emulated the real world Lego pieces, only through a very childlike imagination. Yes, the story's basically The Matrix with Lego blocks, but it's so much fun to sit back and follow. Movie references are scattered throughout, and much like the Muppets film a few years ago was aimed at the folk who watched it on TV in the 70s and their early youth, this film's aimed at those who recall building spaceships in the 80s and being creative, throwing away the instructions and just building whatever you wanted. With a final act that some have loved and some haven't loved so much. Personally, I loved it. The film resonates with audiences and also has one of the most catchiest jingle tunes ever. For me, it made me reminisce about my space Lego sets I had as a kid and all the wonderful spaceships I used to build. But it also resonates with the adult that I am now, making me realise perhaps that I don't need to grow up, and maybe I can recapture that sense of creativity and adventure that my young mind once had. Also, this month saw the UK release of Stalingrad, the first Russian IMAX film, and it was a bit of a mixed bag. Beautiful imagery is let down by a story that flips back and forth between sides, interrupting the connection with the Russian soldiers who should be the focus of the film. It's a shame, as the first Russian IMAX film, which is shot in 3D, it makes full use of the format for impact, and could have been a spectacular war movie with a solid heart to it. Instead, we get a beautiful, yet overlong, meandering piece that you just kinda wish was much shorter. As I was editing all this together this week, the news came that Harold Ramis, aka Egon from Ghostbusters, passed away. The actor and screenwriter was 69 when he passed away through complications from a rare disease after he's been struggling with it for the past 3.5 years. He'll be sorely missed in the film world, but fondly remembered for his writing of films such as Groundhog Day and starring in films such as Stripes and Ghostbusters. It was also reported this week that DreamWorks CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg has suggested a 5th Shrek film may be in the pipeline, which isn't that much of a shock given that the spin-off Puss in Boots franchise didn't really seem to charm as many people as they'd hoped. Anyway, without further ado, here's the highlights of a conversation that Kase, myself and Neil, a newcomer to the FilmFile team, had this week on the run-up to the big awards this weekend. So, yes. Kase, tell me what your feeling to awards are. You know, do you look forward to awards season, or do you look forward to hating all the choices that they come out with?
I probably look forward to it maybe a little bit too much. I've always been big into the Oscars. I don't really know why. Like, since being a kid, I would always try and stay up all night, much to my parents' dismay. Yeah, I would always try and watch them, even if it were the Golden Globes, which are kind of like the Joker of the awards season.
They're like the poor man's awards.
But they always get the best memes and best sound bites. That's what they got Christian Jesus Bale from. So he got his long hair and looked like Jesus Bale. And when Brendan Fraser did the hand clap thing, that was amazing.
The hand clap thing?
Yeah, the hand clap thing, yeah. Did you see that? Oh, you should go on YouTube and just type in Brendan Fraser Golden Globes hand clap. But as far as nominations and things for this year, I think it's one of the most difficult Best Actor races we've had.
It is a solid one in the actors in a leading role. You know, Bale in American Hustle, Bruce Dern in Nebraska, DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street, owned that film from start to finish. Ejiofor in 12 Years a Slave, and McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club. It's a solid 5 films there. None of those films I would consider weak entries, because normally each year there's one which is like, how the hell did that make it in there?
Yeah.
But this year...
I think for this year, that one nomination we're saying for 1 week nomination is Christian Bale, which I never thought that I'd say, given past performances and nominations and stuff.
So
but yeah, but that would be my one to say. But and I think he's been nominated just because everybody else in American Hustle has been nominated. I feel like he's just got swept up in the wave of nominations.
Felt sorry for him.
As well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, poor Oscar-winning millionaire that he is.
Well, I've always loved the Oscars, but I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but they always seem to go for like anybody with a disability or the underdog story. I'll say that, the underdog story. And if it's got that undertone on it, then bang, it's going to get a nomination. You know, I mean, Forrest Gump. I mean, do you really think that was Oscar-worthy?
It's kind of what I refer to as the ugly vote.
Yeah.
Take a respected, beautiful actor or actress and give them a crippling disability or make them really ugly in a film, boom, they've won the award. Yeah. So maybe, you know, it might be Bale for the real disability out of a bad wig.
Or it might be Matthew McConaughey for being a walking skeleton.
Yeah, but saying that, I'd be quite happy with pretty much any of the choices. Yes,
they are solid films, though.
We all want DiCaprio to win.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see the boy win.
Yeah.
I probably weren't for that reason. The Oscars like to be very, we're very independent now. You know?
Wait till he's about 80-year-old, then we'll give him the nearly dead award.
Yeah, exactly. You've done nothing yet, so have this before you die.
Yeah.
So, Best Pictures category: American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, 12 Years a Slave, Wolf of Wall Street. That is effectively my top 10 of last year.
Yeah.
Even though there was only 9 there.
But I think that Her was so good you can count it twice.
Yeah, Her should be considered twice. It's been one of them over this past couple of months that, I mean, since the start of this year, 2014, watched American Hustle at the start of the year and it's like, wow, that's set the bar high. Then the following week watched 12 Years a Slave and went, wow, that's just raised the bar.
Oh, January was incredible.
We got to Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street had climbed on a building and urinated on all the films that came before it.
Yeah.
And then Her came out and just went, yeah, Wolf, get down.
And then in between those ones as well, you still had a number of weeks, so at least like 2 or 3 weeks, where every single Friday was a very solid film. So we had Lone Survivor, which, I went for a stage in January, saw a film on its day of release, and was not disappointed with any of the films, which very rarely happens. So it was Lone Survivor, it was Inside Llewyn Davis. I mean, I think on any other year, that would have been in for the Best Picture nom. Not to win, but definitely just a nom. And even for Oscar Isaacs, he could have been up for Best Actor, but like we said, it's so competitive and so strong this year.
If you were to call what you think should win on the Best Picture, what would it be?
Me personally, I'd say Wolf of Wall Street. I really liked that film. I really did.
Okay. So is this what we think will, or what we want?
What do you
That's
think
what I
will?
want.
What do you want? What would you want to win?
I'd say Wolf of Wall Street. Me.
I would say Her.
I think I'd agree with Her. Her, I just thought was an immaculate film. It was the best love story on film that I can ever think of seeing, and also a rather good social commentary on how we're becoming so distant from personal relationships that you might as well have a relationship with your computer because you're communicating purely by Facebook, Twitter, etc. Why not?
Pretty much. Even now the film opens like, if you've not seen it,
I've not seen it yet.
I don't want to spoil anything, but just where he works, his job. That's
the extension of like your moonpig.com kind of thing.
It is. But
the impersonal personal mailings.
Yeah. Oh man, just such an amazing idea, such a great way to open a film. Where he's reciting this beautiful, heartfelt, heart-wrenching letter to somebody, and you think he's just talking about his ex-wife or something, and then you see the screen is writing it about another couple for a guy to send to his wife, because the guy can't compose these sort of letters, and that's his job.
Yeah.
And companies like this now exist in the future. It's just such a brilliant idea.
That's so believable.
So believable, yeah.
Saying that, what do you think will win?
What I think will win, I think 12 years. I think 12 years will win.
I'll go a bit. I think 12 years will win as well.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking last night what way it would go, and I actually genuinely feel that 12 years won't get this award, because I reckon that'll get the directing award.
Really?
Yeah. I do think that it's going to be a Dallas Buyers Club win on this category.
Wow.
And that's simply because it's another, like, one of those touchy subjects in America which they like to think that they're so knowledgeable about. And Dallas Buyers Club's not in the directing award.
So
you think it's going to be like
throw a dog a bone?
Like Argo?
Yeah, it's thrown a dog a bone, and that's why I think it'll be that way around. I don't think it deserves it. Yeah, Dallas Buyers Club, I reckon, will get the Best Picture because it's not being nominated in the directing, and I reckon that with directing it will be 12 Years a Slave. Well, you know, America is still very sorry about everything that it did. It's really, really sorry. You know, we've seen this before when there's a slavery-related film. We're really sorry. But also, they're really sorry because 2 years ago they completely snubbed the director's last film, Shame. Shame, which got nominated and received awards at every other ceremony worldwide, didn't even get a mention at all. Not for writing, not for direction, not for anything. And I reckon for that reason, they will suddenly go, oh, you know what, Mr. McQueen, really sorry that we forgot about you last time. Have an award for this film. Which is cynical.
But that's the way it rolls.
It is quite good reasoning. Like, the Oscars are that kind of organisation where if they've wronged somebody, like Al Pacino,
Scorsese.
Yeah, and then given it years and years later for a lesser film, I was like, oh, well, sorry about that. Goodfellas was amazing, but we'll give you for Departed instead. So yeah, I can see your reasoning, but to move on to the directing one, I think that Alfonso Cuarón's going to win it because I think he's going to do the Ang Lee win from last year, which is where everybody thought that Life of Pi could not be made, it could not be filmed. It's one of those amazing novels where you read it and you imagine such wonderful locations and stuff, and you just can't think that it's going to be filmed, and then he made that film. It's absolutely stunning, and then gave him the directing award for it. So I think it's going to be a similar kind of thing for Alfonso Cuarón, who is an amazing director.
So you're tipping for Gravity for the directing?
For the director,
I've got to be truthful. I was thinking the same, because it's just the sheer spectacle of it. You look at it and you just can't believe that it's not real, because it is that realistic.
See, on that basis, that's why it's on the later categories, the effects related categories, visual effects, etc. That I think Gravity will get those awards.
Yeah, definitely. It's got the cinematography one in the bag, which is a shame because Prisoners looked incredible. Roger Deakins was amazing.
Deakins is possibly one of the best cinematographers around.
Dude's been nominated like 10 times, 11 times.
The guy makes digital look like 35mm.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
He's amazing at managing to get the beauty out of whatever he uses. I mean, you get so many people saying, "Oh, I won't work with digital because it makes it look very cold and emotionless." And then Deakins comes along and goes, "Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Look at what I've just done."
I mean, just look at his work on Skyfall.
Beautiful,
just absolutely fantastic.
One of the best looking Bond films that we've ever had.
Certainly, that fight in Tokyo with evil henchmen, when they're like hand-to-hand combat fights, and dude's got a gun as well, and you only see the faces when the gun's being set off. Amazing, so good.
The category which everyone always goes, "Oh, I'm not sure of." Actress in a leading role.
Kate Blanchett.
Blue Jasmine.
Yeah, I love Blue Jasmine. Thought it was fantastic. If it was any other year, I'd want it to do the original screenplay, but her and Nebraska, both really good screenplays, and plus Woody Allen's got enough. He's got enough of these things.
Yeah.
He doesn't even show anyway.
Yeah, he sulks all the time anyway, and says he doesn't do awards. He doesn't like slaps on the back.
Yeah, doesn't like any of his 4 Oscars.
The one which is bizarre in this one, I mean, if Sandra Bullock was to win for Gravity, are they going to just take away three quarters of the statue and just give her a head on a pair of shoulders? Because that's pretty much all that she acted in the whole of the film. The rest of it was CGI'd.
I know.
I don't get why. I think that's just a shoehorn in because, it's Sandra Bullock and we've not got a lot of people that we can put into this category.
Speaking of which, Meryl Streep is there.
Yeah.
Which literally just seems because it's Meryl Streep. I don't think she should have won for The Iron Lady.
No,
I
don't think anyone in Britain thinks that
No, yeah.
thinks that anything should have won for Iron Lady. If we get onto the supporting roles, I mean, actress in a supporting role, you've got Sally Hawkins, again, Blue Jasmine. You got Jennifer Lawrence in American Hustle.
Yep.
Lupita Nyong in 12 Years a Slave. Julia Roberts in August Osage County. Must avoid the temptation to call that Sausage County. And June Squibb in Nebraska. Jennifer Lawrence.
What again? I think it's the Sandra Bullock, isn't it? Basically,
oh, yeah.
It's she won it last year. So what we'll do is she's got the main one. We'll give her the secondary one now.
It's not even a great role.
It's not. It just. I've said this to you before. It just feels like Jennifer Lawrence being Jennifer Lawrence. Like that's her persona that she now likes to portray to the media. But just on film mode to Christian Bale, that's all it felt to me.
It's a tricky category to pick from, because with that one I think I'm just going to literally put all the names into a hat and draw one at random and then tick me boxes on there.
I mean, I watched Nebraska on Saturday, so it's still quite fresh in my mind, but June Squibb was fantastic. I mean, before the film was released, everybody was going on about how amazing Bruce Dern was, and he is. He's very, very good and very convincing. I just had no idea how funny and bitchy his wife could be, whilst also being very sweet and tender at the same time. So, yeah, I would want her to win. She's never going to win.
I just really hope we don't get another Jennifer Lawrence win, who didn't deserve it last year. I'm sorry,
No.
Jessica Chastain should have won for Zero Dark 30 last year.
Yes.
I don't know how Jennifer Lawrence managed to steal that away.
I think it was the political angle, because it was getting a lot of negative press. I think that was what knocked it on the head. It was just purely because of that. If it wasn't for that negative press, I think she would have won.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there.
It was the only win for Silver Linings Playbook, I seem to remember. And the way that the Academy seems to be going now, they seem to award one award that will then have to do for the entire movie. That was one of my reasons about 12 Years as well. Like, they seem to just give one award. That's it. Everybody did an amazing job, but this person could represent you all. So I feel that that's what Jennifer Lawrence was a little bit for Silver Linings.
I mean, again, last year, Best Supporting Actor. You know, Christoph Waltz. I love Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that he was anywhere in the same league as Alan Arkin in Argo last year. And yet Waltz got it. Because, loads of people saying, Django Unchained's been nominated here, there and everywhere. Let's give it at least one. And it's a shame. I mean, Christoph Waltz is a great actor. But he wasn't the best actor last year. Not in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Not for the supporting ones. I mean, I didn't really enjoy Lincoln that much. I just persevered with it, but Tommy Lee Jones I thought was fantastic in that film.
This year's category for supporting role. So we've got Barkhad Abdi in Captain Phillips, we've got Bradley Cooper in American Hustle, Michael Fassbender in 12 Years a Slave, Jonah Hill in Wolf of Wall Street. I bet Jonah Hill never foresaw the day when he'd be up against such names.
Two-time Oscar nominee.
And Jared Leto in Dallas Buyers Club. Now my money's on Leto there. I think.
He was
not
really
just
good.
this time it's not for any political reasons, not for but this is genuinely one of the best performances out of everyone there. And when he's up against people like Fassbender, that's an amazing thing to be able to stand up and be proud about. Do we think that Leto will get it, or?
I think that's definitely the smart money and quite deserved as well, which is good. I like everybody, maybe aside from Bradley Cooper.
I like everybody.
I like everybody. I don't want to annoy anybody. Bradley Cooper again. Just didn't really do it.
That character, not me if I'm wrong, right? But it just seemed way too OTT. Even on the subdued moments, and you're like, really?
So it all kind of fits in with it's been commented that as a director, David O. Russell manages to get Academy Award nominations for pretty much everyone in his films.
Yeah.
And it does seem like it's
He's done
as soon as
surprisingly well.
As soon as someone's in one of his films, everyone involved in it is going to get nominated.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good or bad their performance is.
Well, what was it? It was 1940, which was, I think, like the last time that every single category was filled for the actors.
Yeah.
And then he came along and did it twice in 2 years. So that's impressive. Speaking of David Russell, I have a feeling that they'll give him the original screenplay something of a bit of a consolation prize. That's what we did with Alexander Payne like a couple of years ago. Because Ali Payne was up for The Descendants.
Yeah.
And I thought Descendants was a brilliant film. Amazing screenplay, but brilliant film. And they gave it him for that. And they also gave him for Sideways as well. So I feel like that is also a bit of a consolation prize. So he'll probably walk away with that, I would say.
Animated feature. This is a no-brainer, isn't it? Isn't it good? It's frozen.
Frozen.
Let's be honest.
It's going to win.
If anything else wins, then I say we all pool money together, jump on a flight, go over and beat the shit out of everyone from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because whoever's voting in these has got it
Yeah.
completely wrong. It's Frozen. You know, Despicable Me was great. It was really funny.
It's not in the
laughed
same
from start
class
to
as
finish.
Frozen, though, is it?
The Croods. God knows
Yeah.
what that's doing in there.
I think that's the consolation booby prize one, isn't it?
But it's definitely Frozen. So I think we should just cross that one off the list.
Yeah.
Makeup and hairstyling. Does anyone understand this category? Did they only do makeup and hairstyling for 3 films this year? One of them, The Lone Ranger.
I know, bizarre. However, I do love that Bad Grandpa.
Jackass presents Bad Grandpa is in there.
Wow.
Did everyone else just go au natural on their films this year? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I believe on American Hustle, they all just bought their wigs.
Yeah. If it was just on wigs alone, they'd win it heads down.
On the fact
They're
that
not even nominated.
on the fact that there's only The Lone Ranger and Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa in competition against it, I think this is a win for Dallas Buyers Club. And it's not really makeup and hairstyling, it's more like, yeah, I've just lost loads of weight by not eating
Yeah.
in order to fit this role. Visual effects,
Gravity, come on. It's a no-brainer, that one.
Absolutely a no-brainer.
I mean, not to knock the effects of The Hobbit, Desolation of Smoke.
Yeah.
Lone Ranger looks, I mean, that train crash sequence at the beginning is absolutely staggering. And Star Trek Into Darkness, it might have been a bad film, but it looked good.
It did look good.
Iron Man
From what I can see throughout all the bloody
Iron Man 3 just looked like a Marvel film.
Yeah.
So I think that's just been dropped in just for the sake of, have you got anything to drop it? Yeah, go on, make it 5. Make it look like Gravity's got some competition, because it hasn't. Gravity, definitely win for that. Cinematography.
I would want Deakins to win, because we all love Deakins. I don't know if he will. I think what's his name, Emmanuel Lubezki, who, weirdly enough, I was on Netflix, which we try and plug at least once a podcast, and we decided to watch The Birdcage, because it was just on Max or whatever, recommended things. So we watched it. First time we watched it, came out years ago. Gene Hackman and Nathan Lane, really, really bloody funny. Shot by the same dude who did Gravity, which is very strange. I was like, that is quite a step up.
That's a bizarre contrast.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I think he'll probably win it for Gravity.
This is where the use of CGI in so many films now gets me confused, because if Gravity is approximately 89% CGI, then how's that actually cinematography?
Yeah.
Or have they got the cinematographer involved in the visual effects part of it, just to they've got his take on it, so that if he wants an angle and he wants a type of lighting, then he's got to be involved in it because he's the actual one doing the cinematographer.
It's one of those things that with the cinematography in this age of like digital cinema and digital CGI creations, I think that this is one of the times when they need to start creating a better definition of the categories for some of the Oscars.
Yeah.
Because
just the way the film's been made, it's changing so dramatically, and it will continue to do so for the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh, it will do.
Yeah.
We're constantly
that's
evoluting.
Gravity, hasn't it?
Every now and then they add a new category, they take away a category, they merge some categories together, they expand some out, and I think now we're getting to the time where they maybe need to start thinking about doing that. Best
digital performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis every year.
Straight away. Yeah.
But let's make sure that they get it in time for next year's awards, so that you can get it for Planet of the Apes this year.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. There'll be some kind of online petition about that already, I'm sure.
It's like there's two categories that I don't get why there's 2 categories: sound, mixing, editing. And you generally see the same bloody films in both categories, and it's like, well, surely during the sound mixing is when you're editing it.
Yeah.
So how is it 2 categories? And I've never understood it. I've tried to research it. I've looked on Wikipedia, and I'm none the wiser. Does anyone know what the difference is between the sound editing and sound mixing?
Well, to me, you've got to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
Because when you're mixing it, you're editing it.
Yeah. Well, you would think that everything would be edited down to what you want, and then you mix it and buffer it up. And
does that mean that the guy who's mixing it, who's sitting there going like, and then he just goes and has a tea break, another guy comes in and starts editing it?
How good would that be if sound mixing one for Gravity then lost for editing? The guy's telling
So I
just went on my tea break.
This is one of those examples where, I think that they need to start merging categories together. I think maybe back in the days when everything was done on stock film, then obviously editing something was actually cutting the bits out. Yeah. And then it's in the post-production when someone then takes all those layers and works out what needs to be where. But now in the age where everything's recorded audio digitally.
Yeah.
They're doing it all at the same time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know when I'm going to be editing this podcast, I'll be mixing and editing it myself and cutting and pasting to whatever way I do. Do I get 2 awards? I won't get any awards, let's be honest.
Unless you have to make yourself an award.
I shall endeavour to make myself an award. But on the subject of sound, I mean, I think that Gravity needs to win at least in one of these categories. Mainly for the scenes when there's literally no sound. And you're suddenly aware of how important sound is in a film when you are lost in that void of space and you can't hear anything. Absolutely amazing use. I don't know whether that's mixing or editing.
Well, I think it'd be mixing.
We'll go for mixing.
We'll go for mixing, probably.
Yeah.
Well done, mixer. It might actually be the same guy. I will IMDb that one later.
Adapted screenplays.
I would love for Philomena to win. I would love for Steve Coogan to be an Oscar winner.
Yeah, we've got Before Midnight, Captain Phillips, Philomena, 12 Years a Slave, and Wolf of Wall Street.
This might be the way they're going to chuck a bone to Wolf of Wall Street if it doesn't win.
Maybe. I would really like Terence Winter.
Yeah, throw it the bone because it doesn't get the big categories.
That's it, yeah.
Which would be a shame because, you know, I think in any other year, Wolf of Wall Street will probably be walking home with Best Picture, etc. But it's just got too much competition this year.
And there's quite a lot of controversy about it as well, saying that it glorifies a certain lifestyle. And,
of course it does. That's what Scorsese does best. Who didn't watch Goodfellas and come out at the end going, yeah,
I want to be
a gangster.
Exactly. But also the Academy don't really want to associate themselves with that much controversy, it seems.
Well,
I mean, Brokeback Mountain loses to Crash. It's one of those, isn't it?
An original screenplay gives us American Hustle, Blue Jasmine, Dallas Buyers Club, Her, and Nebraska. I'd love Her to get this one because I do think it's one of the freshest, most original scripts that we've had in years.
I'm going to have to watch this film, aren't
I? Seriously, it's film of the year.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant film.
I would recommend you just go back and watch all of Spike Jonze's films.
I
pay attention to all.
I have watched all of them. It's just because I'm not had a chance this week. So.
That's fair,
yeah.
Costume design. Is American Hustle going to be winning because of
the wigs?
The wigs. But they'd be on makeup and hairstyling. But they weren't hairstyles, they were wigs. Great Gatsby. Extravagant costumes. But it just feels that it's been dropped in there because you suddenly realise, we've not actually made any effort to pay attention to Baz Luhrmann's latest output.
Yeah.
I think this will be another throw to 12 Years a Slave. They love their period pieces.
Yeah.
They love the attention to detail, and it has got like a good range of that upper class kind of like top hats and velvets towards the start, and right down to the gritty grime of the slaves and all the outfits of the slavers themselves. I think if that got it, I think it's a deserved win.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Original song.
Either Let It Go, even though I've kind of started to hate it now, after however many months it's been in the cinema and in my bloody head, or the Moon Song from Her, which I love because it's by Karen O from the AS. But very, very sweet moment of the film. But Let It Go is a great song. It deserves to be on a Broadway show. It's that good of a song.
It's proper uplifting. I was going to break into song then, but then realised that I'd only have to edit it out.
Well, if Rob Andrews was here, you know he'd be doing the whole Elsa thing. He'd
actually freeze the whole room as well.
He would, yeah.
He likes to get into the
Dude
feel
loves
of it.
Disney so much.
And, you know the only reason why Let It Go will win?
Yeah.
Is because the Lego movie came out too late.
I was actually thinking that. I was thinking that if Everybody's Awesome was on that list, that'd be a clear winner, wouldn't it?
That's the winner for next year. That's winning next year. Everything is awesome.
I'd add up the Darkness Batman song.
I might actually just finish the whole podcast with playing out to Everything is Awesome. And original score. I'm trying to place anything that stood out in anything except for Saving Mr. Banks.
I really like Saving Mr. Banks. I think who was it? Was it Thomas Newman?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I really like Thomas Newman. Philomena, I can remember I really enjoyed, and that was Alexander Despard, who started working with can't talk today, with Wes Anderson quite a lot. I remember really liking that. Heard his Arcade Fire, and that's great. Yeah, I've heard and liked all of them, except for The Book Thief, which hasn't come out yet. Probably give it to Philomena.
So in summary, the Oscars this year, are you looking forward to the ceremony Ellen DeGeneres presenting this year?
No.
Not the greatest of hosts.
No, definitely not. From what I can remember, when I saw her years and years ago when she did it, she didn't do a crack-up stellar job. Not enough to want her to come back.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, Billy Crystal came back a couple of years ago and he just stuck up the room. He was awful.
Yeah, it showed that the memories of him should have just stayed as memories.
That's it.
I quite liked what Seth MacFarlane did.
As did I.
He came out and wound everyone up.
Yeah, again. But it was cool for like the first half hour.
Well, I thought I loved it because he didn't care. He just burnt all the bridges right behind him and just went, well...
It was, what was that song you did? We Saw Your Boob. Was that song? I mean, you saw Sally Field's face, if you like.
The fact that was actually in the... It was like, am I in the surreal alternative dimension Oscars?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I mean, I always sit awake overnight when there's the Oscars, even if I'm in work the first thing the next day. I'd stay awake and watch them live, and also follow like all the chat on Twitter and tweet out. And last year there was so many of the more arty press who were getting very sneery about like, he's really lowered the tone of the Oscars, and I was like, this is the best Oscar ceremony in years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sitting awake this year, which celebrating it on my birthday. Kase, you're staying up, I believe.
Yeah.
You're joining me on my viewing session.
We are indeed. We'll come round.
We'll be tweeting out, probably using the FilmFile UK Twitter account. So if anyone wants to follow that, and let us know what you think of all the nominations. We'll be happy to hear.
Since the last podcast, we haven't touched on Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Quite a loss to cinema.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
And I know that self-inflicted is what you hear people throw in as like, well, you know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. But it's important to remember that he'd managed to go clean for 13, 14 months, I think I've read on one report.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, he's always been open about his addictions. He's always said that, you know, he's got an addictive personality, you know, put something in front of him and he'll take it, he'll use it, he can't stop himself. He was undergoing help to wean himself off, and he'd managed to do it, and then overdoses.
Yeah. That's all it can take, really, just one relapse.
Yeah. Well, I've read this happening other times, like the people who've been clean for so long, obviously your body's flushed itself, you're no longer used to the amount that you used to take,
so you'd be even more
and when you fall off that wagon and you go for what you used to take and you don't realise that that's now too much for you. Tragic.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't think of a poor role that he's ever done. I can think of some poor films he's been in.
But he's been great in those films.
I mean, Along Came Polly is one of the worst blemishes on the arse end of cinema.
But I think he's brilliant in
But
that.
he introduced me to the term shart.
Yeah.
Which is when you fart and a bit of shit comes out.
Yeah. There's that great bit in it where he's playing Judas in a production of Jesus Christ Superstar. And he just shows up the other guy. And,
yeah. In his small role in Big Lebowski, he steals the scenes that he's in.
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, everywhere that he showed up, he was always someone to watch.
Yeah.
And, you know, to think that we're never going to see that again.
Well, I remember when I was first properly getting into film, when I was about 12, 13 and watching like classic films. And just watching films that come out around that time as well. I was trying to pay more attention to smaller actors, not like your big Hollywood stars. And I remember being on a holiday with my family, and we went to go watch the Robin Williams film, Patch Adams. And he's in that. He plays an absolute arsehole. But he's brilliant in that film. And like we said, like he's great even in not so good films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was one of the first films I was aware that he was in. That and in Twister as well. He was one of the storm chasers in Twister.
He was never one of those actors who, if he got himself into a production that was going to be lacklustre, he just thought, oh, phone it in. He always delivered his all. Yeah. And that's what made him stand out for me, is that, you know, even when you know you're surrounded by ineptitude, he would still do the best that he can in it.
What's your favourite Philip Seymour Hoffman performances?
Oh, that's
quite a question,
isn't
it?
Yeah.
It is.
You know, I could throw out stuff from, I don't know, his turn in Magnolia.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the ones that made me first sit up and recognise him as an actor.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones like, whoa, hang on a minute.
Well, I found out something interesting about that. Apparently, Paul Thomas Anderson wrote that part with him in mind, because he thought that character is the most of how Philip Seymour Hoffman just is in day-to-day chat. So he's like, I'm going to write it just as Phil is, just like I'm having a conversation with him. Almost famous.
What was the one a few years ago? Doubt?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Absolutely stunning portrayal.
Yeah.
Marvellous film. Him and Meryl Streep on screen together.
There was Amy Adams as well.
Yeah.
She was,
And that film just crackled with energy and didn't do the business that I think it deserved.
No,
That was a prime example of when you get people saying, "Oh, there's so many remakes. Why don't they do original films?" And you get an original film like that, and it does nothing in the box office because no one watches it.
So why would studios do it?
Yeah. That's a separate rant for a different day.
Definitely, that's definitely a theme we can do. I don't know what I'd pick for mine. The Master was really great. I would say that would be in my top 5 film performances, but
I'm still kind of ashamed that I've not got round to watching that.
yeah, it's really, really great.
I'm a huge P.T. Anderson fan, and I've got it, but I've not got round to watching it because so many people have bigged it up so much. I'm worried that it's not going to live up to my expectations.
Did you guys see the promo film poster that we had when the Master came out? Joe, on like promo film posters, you have like quotes and how many stars from people. One right at the top in a big like red banner. It said, "If ever was a film that could make the blind see and the deaf hear and cure leopards, it would be this film." I thought that is the most bold and audacious thing to put on a poster. Yeah, brilliant. I think my favourite one will be Almost Famous. One of the first like amazing big classic films I saw when I was a kid, when it came out. And the Uncle speech. I mean, it's a popular choice, but it's because it's so bloody great.
Is anyone completely bewildered by the current activities of a certain slice of beef? I mean, Shia LaBeouf. Or are you thinking that bloke is an utter genius in the way he's manipulating the public and the media?
A little bit of both, I think. Definitely. I love the Jerry O'Connell one.
Hasn't this been done better by Joaquin Phoenix, though?
Well, I don't know, because when Joaquin Phoenix did it for like a mockumentary, and no one knew it was a mockumentary, and he went full commit, turning up on chat shows and acting weird. Everyone sort of went, "Oh, what a weirdo," and just switched off. This time around, everyone's fascinated. Is hashtag I'm sorry whole thing that he's been doing. There was queues all the way down the boulevard. People wanted to go and spend a couple of minutes seeing this weirdo with a paper bag on his head saying I'm not famous anymore, who just sits there apparently crying underneath the paper bag. And there's a great video by Screen Junkies.
Yeah, I watched that the other day.
They took a camera in and to record, then berating him and trying to find out what's going on. And they basically said, can we take the bag off you? And he didn't flinch, didn't move, so they took the bag off. And he looks like he's welling up in tears. But then the icing on the cake from the Screen Junkies thing, he was like, "What are you sorry for? Is it Indiana Jones?" And I don't know if it was just me, but I saw a slight twitch of a slight smile come on LaBeouf's face at that point. Yeah. And I just wonder, was there any point during that whole day or couple of days that he just burst out laughing at someone who was in there? LaBeouf went from being like, everyone's hating you because, plagiarism and all that, and now he's got such media attention.
Yeah.
Then again, have you heard the stories where he was on the set of his last latest film with Brad Pitt and everything, and he went real, like character acting, not bathing.
Yeah, I've read that he is quite a method actor, which is strange for someone who was in Transformers. I don't know what to make of him.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'll see what happens with his career. I just find that he's doing a Lars von Trier film.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be something, isn't it? When you go to a press junket for a Lars von Trier film and you have a weirdest person there.
Yeah.
Like,
that takes some doing.
You're stranger and you cause more controversy than Lars von Trier. That's impressive.
Elsewhere in the world of film over the past month, we've seen a much beloved sci-fi icon get resurrected on the big screen, to lots of grumbling from loads of people who didn't see it. And pretty much those who did see it and went in with an open mind thought to themselves, "Hey, you know what? That actually worked." Yes, I'm talking RoboCop.
I thought it was really good. So I like the idea that they took the idea and from the original movie and just went, well, they've done it that way, we're going to do it a different way. Because so many remakes, you just see a direct carbon copy. What's the point in that? When the original worked, let's do something different.
Yeah. I went in with an optimistic mind and it delivered. It didn't tread on the toes of the original film. It didn't try to be the original film. It was, even though it was a lower rating, it was a much darker and bleaker film than the original film.
Yeah.
And it proved that you can successfully reboot a franchise and make it its own and make it successful. It's strange that all the people who are negative about it and it's going to ruin the RoboCop franchise. It's like, did they ever watch RoboCop 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, the franchise had pretty much gone as low as it could by that point, and then the TV series came. So there was nothing. There was nothing to ruin there.
Yeah.
It had been done years before.
I think I would like to see like a Peter Weller cameo. Well, we had a Peter Weller cameo in Star Trek, and that didn't improve anything in Into Darkness.
Don't start me on that Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh, I won't.
That and Man of Steel last year just really, really upset me.
Now, what do you think about the new casting updates for Man of Steel 2? Jeremy Irons. Jeremy's Iron.
You know what? I'm past caring about any castings for Man of Steel 2, because even if there's like solid names getting put in there, all the fanboys go online and start saying how disgraceful and abhorrent those names are to anything to do with film without even paying attention to it. Whilst at the meantime, I'm just looking at Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel and going, yay, it's a talking raccoon!
Yeah. Definitely the best trailer of the year so far.
Oh,
I'd say.
Awesome.
I'm going to say if they put best virtual actor up, I'll say Bradley Cooper for Rocket Raccoon.
Well, Vin Diesel, man. If he could get an Oscar nomination for just saying 3 words, just saying I am Groot. Genius.
So, as they say in the business, that's a wrap for this month. I'd like to thank Kase and Neil for grabbing some time to sit in and discuss the upcoming Oscars. Don't forget to follow at FilmFile UK on Twitter, and feel free to tweet us your thoughts on anything film related. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to us and always be alerted when a new podcast's available. And remember,
everything is awesome.